call to order. District 208 Board of Education, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Nardi, give a roll call, please.
Here.
Ms. Fiasco. Here. Ms. Rusko. Here. Ms. Black. Here. Mr. Noble.
Here.
Ms. Zeppelin.
Here.
And Ms. Salas.
Here. We do have recognitions this evening, Dr. Freitas.
Good
and team.
evening, honorable board members. Congratulations to Henry Backus and Kayla McCartry on being selected to perform in the Illinois Music Education Association, IOMEA, All-State Chorus, and to Bennett Janones on being selected for the IOMEA All-State Honors Chorus. These students were selected among thousands of students across Illinois to rehearse and perform at the Illinois Music Education Conference in Peoria, making them some of the top student vocalists in the country. Henry, Caleb, and Bennett will perform at the IMEC this weekend, this Wednesday through Saturday. Congratulations, Henry, Caleb, and Bennett, on representing RBHS on the largest and most competitive musical stage in Illinois.
Dr. Freitas, can you say that again? Is that in Champaign or is that in Bloomington?
That is in, we have here, it was Peoria.
Is it south or north of I-80, right?
We would first like to call up Henry Backus. Caleb McCartry. And Bennett Janones. And now I would like to call our choir teacher, Ms. Smetana.
So as Dr. Freitas said, ILMEA is the Illinois Music Education Association. The state of Illinois is broken up into 9 different districts, and we are in District 1. We take up the entirety of the city of Chicago, so all Chicago public schools, all private and charter schools in Chicago, all the way out towards us, west, all the way down south to like the Lincoln Ways and Carl Sandburg area. And we had, I think, 18, I want to say, students represent us in District 1, and then from each district, the top students in each of their voice part are chosen to represent us at All-State. So these 3 have shown that they are not only some of the top in the state, but we are the largest district, and encompassing all of Chicago. That's a really, really hefty feat, especially, you know, for tenors and basses. It's a competitive voice part, and these 3 show that with hard work and talent, anything is possible. I have a poster in my classroom that says, "Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard," and these guys show of what happens when you have natural talent, but you also work hard to foster that talent. We're very, very excited to see them. All 3 of these students are also in choir plus another music class and take private lessons. They really do put in all of the work that you could think of both during the school day and outside of school. So we're very proud of them.
Who's the tenor and who's the bass?
You can answer that.
Who's tenor and who's bass?
I'm a tenor.
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 I was bass, yeah.
I got it. That wasn't hard to figure out.
Board members, I would like to recognize one more student. This student is not here, but congratulations to Hayden Clark on being selected as an ensemble and understudy cast member for the Illinois High School Theater Festival's All-State production of The Prom. The Prom features a select ensemble of the top high school actors, technicians, and musicians throughout the state of Illinois. The All-State cast performed 5 times at the Illinois High School Theater Festival for over 3,000 theater students from across the state. Congratulations to Hayden. All the families of the student, I'd like to invite you up. We could take some pictures. We're extremely proud of you. Okay? And board members, that concludes the recognitions portion of the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Freitas. We don't have the Student Association here this evening, do
Yes,
we?
we have one right.
Oh, we do. Going solo, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overlook you there. I apologize. Tell us your name again, if you'd be so kind.
My name is Lucy Trent. I'm the president of the Student Association Exec Board. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. As you've probably seen, everybody else seemed busy tonight, so you just got me. It's been a while since the last time we've been here. There's a lot been going on. At the end of last semester, we were able to donate 250 winter items, coats, blankets, hats, gloves, to the Salvation Army. At their event in Oak Brook, it was a great opportunity for SA Exec Board members and some of our other SA members to go there and donate and see where it all goes to. And it's a great event in Oak Brook where community members are able to kind of shop around in this giant area for winter items. They had food there. They had a lot of great things. So that was a great way to kind of end our semester. We also were working pretty hard before break to get everything prepared for our pep rally and spirit week that we had. To kick off second semester. Our theme was Hollywood. We had Bulldog Production Presents Lights, Camera, Action. And we thought it was a great success for the Spirit Week. We had some fun days, like on Wednesdays we wear pink, and an Adam Sandler day, which a lot of students really enjoyed. Our pep rally, we had our usual performances from Palms, cheer, and we even had gymnastics this year, hip hop club, and we always have some fun games there. So it was a blast, and we thought it went really well, and it was a great way to kind of kick off second semester, with some spirit. And then looking forward, we have some fun events coming up. We have our blood drive, which is going to be on February 19th. We have a trivia night coming up, which we're going to have some raffle prizes, and should be fun for everybody that participates. That'll be on February 11th. And then finally, we're going to do another kind of scavenger hunt, all school-wide event like we did for Halloween. We want to do something kind of spring-themed because we thought that was a a way to get as many people involved as we can. So, yeah, that's it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions, comments?
Thank you for the work.
Thank you. Thank you. There's no president's report. Moving on to Dr. Skiggis.
Thank you. I have a short superintendent report. Second semester timeline for the Board of Education will be as follows. Review financial projections in February, approve initial staffing for the 25-26 school year in March, tentative budget development in April through May, school board election in April, and then finalize the FY26 budget through July and August. So that's pretty much what the second semester looks like. Course selection and staffing. The class of 2029 selected their classes for their freshman year this past Saturday at RB. Throughout February, the administration and division heads will review student course requests and assign staffing allotments to departments and sections to the master schedule. As discussed last spring, music classes will be assigned an FTE allotment based on a number of student requests divided by 30, so we did change that, similar to how the other electives in the high school are assigned. The teacher, leader, and divisional can then determine how they would like to assign the allotted FTE and determine what classes will run or not run. As far as committees or councils are concerned, there are no updates. Technology, we will be running a financial advisory council in February to review the factors that will be used for the financial projections. And that concludes my superintendent's report.
Any questions or comments from anyone? Seeing none this evening. Dr. Smetana.
Good evening. Tonight I'll provide the Board of Education with financial information through the month of December, which represents 50% of our fiscal year. The monthly summary report, the total operating revenue for the month was $482,176, with 63% from evidence-based funding, which is our state funding, 16% from local sources, and 11% from property taxes and CPPRT. The total operating expenditures for the month were $3,658,589, with 51% towards salary and benefits, which clearly is an unusual month. 27% on purchase services, so that's primarily LADSE, which is our special education cooperative. We pay that for the entire school year. It's a little later than normal this year. And then 10% on special education tuition. Monthly financial summary statements. The summary of revenue shows that the district has received 49% of our budgeted revenue for the year. This amount is a little higher than this time last year, but we're tracking right as we should for the fiscal year. The summary of expenditures shows that the district has spent 53.6% of the budgeted expenditures for the year, and this amount's pretty similar to this time last fiscal year, which was 52.23%. As always, I included all the statement of revenues and expenditures for the board accounts, as well as the activity accounts for the month of December. And then I also have a few additional reports tonight that I've included for the board. The first is just an update from the Township Treasurer Board meeting. We met again, we meet quarterly, so our last meeting was January 15th, and I provided the board presentation for your information. Paid second quarter rental report, so I've attached the second quarter rental report from the paid rentals. So that's from October 1st through December 31st. For this quarter, the district collected $14,385 in revenue and expended $2,932. Of the revenue for the quarter, 70% of it came from facilities space charges, with the majority from the stadium, followed by the field house and the main gym. Year to date, we've collected $32,916.75 and expended $9,210. We use the surplus from rentals to offset costs related to the upkeep of facilities. At this time last year, we brought in about $36,000 in revenue and spent about $9,000 in expenditures. There are 4 groups that have outstanding balances from the second quarter for a total of $11,351. Solar update, we're in the process of finalizing the RFP with the solar consultant, the district's architect, as well as our construction manager. The goal is to release the RFP February 18th. We would then review proposals in March and have interviews, and then hopefully have the month of April to to negotiate a contract and present it for the board's approval at the April COW is our target timeline. That would then result in solar panels typically have a 9 to 12 month time for construction because they need time for permits as well as ordering the solar panels. So the estimated timeline for the project would be to have it complete and up and running by June 2026. I also lastly included the contract tool. I've shared this with the board earlier this year when the Life Touch contract was approved, but I wanted to share it again because we did release the copier RFP last week, and the board will hopefully see that for approval in March. And then First Student, which is our busing for field trips and for athletics, will be renewed later this spring. And that concludes my report for tonight.
So I had 2 quick question comments. I didn't submit them earlier, I'm sorry. So I think that the Township Treasurer report is, it gets better every quarter.
Good.
I'm impressed that they're putting all that together in one spot, and I appreciate you serving on that. And then with the outstanding rental, I'm not seeing it laid out, unless I missed it somewhere, of where the outstanding is derived, or is that just overall you had it in your summary, it was the 11?
I just had it in the summary,
Yeah.
so it's tricky because the paid quarterly rentals are also capturing rentals that were from the first quarter that were paid in the second quarter, so there's not really a clean way to run an analysis, and the outstanding balances, we can't run a report, we have to manually find them and report out on them. So we were trying to figure out like how do we include it best in the report, because it doesn't, it's not something that can be populated in that report. It has to be
I mean, for my purposes, I think this is what my ask was before. I think at year end it makes the most sense just to see, who takes 6 months to delay. I'm not sure if it's as important quarterly, but I appreciate you acknowledging that it was requested. But
okay, yeah, we didn't, a lot of the groups are groups that rent year round, and so, right, if they just miss paying in December but they paid in January, they don't count.
Right.
And so it's not necessarily they're delinquent, it's just they're going to count in the next quarter.
Right. I think it's more apparent at year end when, there's such a deviation from the prior year for some reason. Some entity didn't pay up. So.
Great. Thank you for the clarification.
Were there any questions or comments from anyone else? looking okay. Thank you, Dr. Smetana. Dr. Freitas, you bringing up your team?
Yes, I would like to invite Assistant Principal Mr. Dave Manning, Dean Kara Weinberg, and Dean Alberto Jaques to present our first semester Culture and Climate Report.
How we doing?
Bring a chair. BYOC.
Every time we present, we do the who's
Right.
gonna take the.
And you've added some categories to this, so thank you very much for doing that as well. I think after the board's request, so it's appreciated.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. We're here tonight to present the average daily attendance and suspension report from first semester. The deans and I took some time within the last month to dig into this data, specifically the attendance percentages, which you'll see in some additional charts on the report. When reviewing this data, there is a trend of consistent 88% within the last 3 years. Overall, for this semester, we came in around 93%, which is slightly above where we're at last year. While we saw a slight increase in the 88 this semester here, the 93% is a little bit below where the board goal is at 95%. There's a couple reasons, which Carrie will get into in a little bit here, but the first reason would be the amount of excused absences, which is around 7,768. It's averaged out to be around like 4.6 per student first semester compared to around 2.23 pre-COVID in 19 and 20. Looking at the monthly attendance data, last year, and I think this question always gets brought up, is how are we looking at in November? So November continues to be a difficult month for us due to the limited amount of school days and with the holiday. So the average daily attendance for November was around 90%, which is about 3% lower than all the other months combined. During November, the attendance office reported around 4,646 illness call-outs, 848 days of vacation, and 1,883 doctor visits. So to provide further information pertaining to some of those excused absences by type, I'll turn it over to Kara at this point.
So we did include 2 charts on here. The first chart is broken down by days and category, and then the second is broken down by number of students taking those days and category as well. So we wanted to have the 1920 first semester numbers on here as well. That is technically pre-COVID. COVID didn't happen until March of 20. So if you will take a look at the numbers specifically related to days, that's kind of where we're going to get our best data here. So sick days are down slightly from last year, still up pretty significantly from COVID times, pre-COVID times rather. We are seeing that number still elevated, but down from last year. This personal code, it kind of deserves an asterisk here. We are using that code a little bit differently than we did pre-COVID, right? So we have condensed the numerous codes that we had pre-COVID where it was, traveling for soccer, traveling for, whatever. We condensed that into a personal code, and so we are seeing that number reflected much higher than we did pre-COVID, and that's why that number looks the way that it does.
Is that like college visits? Are they in?
College visits are a separate code.
Okay.
Personal would really, a family
emergency.
Right, it could be categorized as that, right? We had multiple codes. It was really difficult to track data that way. So we did condense it into the one single code. So that's why that number looks much more bloated now than it did. We are seeing that up slightly this year as well. Doctors' absences are up as well. They're up significantly pre-COVID times, from pre-COVID times, and they're up slightly this year as well. Part of that's with the availability of teledoc appointments, all those kinds of things. Mental health days are down just slightly from last year, kind of a negligible difference, and then obviously we did not have that code pre-COVID. And then vacation is down slightly, still significantly up from pre-COVID time. So we are seeing vacation as having an impact here. If you will turn the page. We did break ADA down by grade level as well, just to kind of give us a picture of that. We are seeing the freshmen hitting that kind of 95% ADA goal, which is really nice, and then you do see kind of that predictable decline over the course of the years here. And again, that's because we start to include things like college visits. We do see our seniors, and Alberto will get into this data in a second, using more of those mental health days. There is a civics code that can be used this year and applied to civics days, and we do see our upperclassmen taking advantage of that. So predictable trend here, but go freshmen.
And there was a day in November where we had a significantly higher number of seniors that were not present, so.
I heard that happens again in April maybe
Right.
as well.
And it wasn't for the electioneering.
No.
Probably not.
No.
I think it was before that. It was the Friday before that. So if you look at the mental health days, the data looks, it comes out as expected. Students who are taking one day, that's you got your 297, and that number goes down as you go up with the days, right? And then with the students who are taking more days, we got the Office of Student Services, their social worker. Whether we talk about it, whether we discuss stuff with them at our problem-solving meetings weekly, we address those situations. If you look at the actual number of days by grade, like Ms. Weinberg said, the use of mental health days goes up as the students, the upperclassmen, right, from 44 to 118. And if you go to the next set of numbers there, tardies. We look at tardies every day, right? It's something that we talk to the kids about every day, especially during lunch. Numbers are a lot lower than they were last year, so kids seem to be doing better with their tardies, right? We have seen a decline in the numbers for first period when they're walking in, and then obviously we're addressing any during the school day tardies as well, right? Those are the ones we look at the most. We work with families who have multiple drop-offs or whatever it may be in the mornings, and try to really focus on students who are, wandering the hallways or not getting to class during the school day. So you can see those numbers there, they're down a lot from last year, and they're about the same as the 2022 numbers. And then Carol would like to talk about some of the initiatives.
In terms of our initiatives, I want to draw your attention first to our continued initiatives. We are continuing to hold lunch conferences with students where we just review attendance. If there's outstanding unverifieds that need to be fixed, if we're hitting our 5 and our 10-day threshold, we do meet with students during that time. We continue our inter-team weekly attendance meetings where we look at students who are chronically truant and chronically absent and plan some interventions. We continue to bring those names to our small team, student services, weekly meeting. We are continuing to issue the 5 and 10 letters. Those are posted to Family Access on Skyward. And then an update, because I believe the last time we spoke, we shared that we would be doing conferences at residency related to attendance. Those did go really well. Each family who passed through residency was issued their child's attendance record for the previous school year. We were able to get a couple of minutes just to say, here's what was great, here's what can be improved upon. Families, for the most part, were very receptive to that. Some families were very surprised by how many days their students had missed, because they do add up really quick. And in the same token, we were able to have one-on-one conversations with students who are coming to school regularly and have great attendance. So it was a nice moment to chat with families. In terms of our new attendance initiatives, we are, after first quarter and third quarter, recognizing students with 95% or higher ADA. After first quarter, we did do an ice cream party during lunch. Students were emailed a invitation if they had 95% ADA or higher and invited to get some ice cream during lunch. We'll do something similar after third quarter. We are posting tardy letters every third tardy to Skyward Family Access so students can see those. They're also continuing to get the hero notifications daily for tardies. We are issuing, this is new, an attendance progress report after third quarter. We are looking to implement that quarterly starting next year, so this will be the first time we're rolling it out, using a couple of models from different schools in the area, but it will have the students' personalized attendance snapshot for the semester, in addition to some resources, some recognition for students who are hitting the mark for attendance, and resources for students who may need some additional assistance. We are implementing an attendance handbook that will go into the 25-26 handbook. It will sort of be a one-stop shop for all things attendance. So right now I think we have gotten some feedback that maybe that information is scattered. We're hoping to condense it so that it will say expectations for attendance, how to report that attendance, types of attendance, and then attendance interventions and resources all in one spot, all located in the handbook. We will share that with Ms. Locke on Thursday. And then kind of our newest communication related to attendance will be sent in the form of an email. It comes from Skylert, which is a Skyward program. It sends every day at 4:15 to any student who has any unverified absence throughout the day. So that student may have one period, let's say their attendance got missed in second period. A letter will generate via email to that parent at 4:15. We'll say your student was marked unverified in second period. Please chat with your student and confirm their attendance. And then it gives resources for appropriate communication after that. And we have gotten really positive feedback from that. It's catching a lot of our unverifieds throughout the day, whether those are legitimate student cuts, whether they are accidental sub-attendance or teacher attendance. So we've gotten really positive feedback since we've implemented that.
Questions on attendance or any of the data there?
So just one thought I had as I was going through this is that on the mental health days, which I know we've talked about here at this board before, after the third day, there's some additional intervention that comes into account, right? Are the mental health days ever viewed through, in combination with a different category to also apply services if needed? If I perhaps don't want the stigma of taking a mental health day, I take it as another personal day, is that perhaps a need for additional intervention along those lines? Are we looking them completely segmented?
I think right now they're segmented, and so when we pull that data out, especially in small teams, they're kind of like in different buckets. But if you see a mental health trend, they've used 4 or 5 and then a couple personal, then that small team conversation kind of takes a different turn to support that student. And so those interventions come there. So we kind of look at attendance as a whole, but then we see themes, and then we present those themes in small teams to see how we can intervene.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'm just looking as the mental health days stay somewhat stable year over year, but we're seeing growth in other categories. I understand there's some bookkeeping.
Right.
I'm wondering if that's becoming a different outlet.
Right. State coding does require it to be a specific code that then gets sent to ISB. But I will say any notes that are given to our attendance secretary related to personal absences are included on Skyward, and counselors and deans can see that.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments? Anyone? Okay. Dr. Manning.
We'll jump to suspension data then. If you'll turn over, numbers are down from last year. This is a good trend to see. We had no alcohol suspensions this year. THC, cartridge possession, suspensions are down as well to 8 students total. Fighting is down, that was 9 students, up slightly in what we call our DLE, what we coded as DLE, but if you'll look underneath that, you'll see that there's several categories lumped into that. So bullying, intimidation, threats, non-compliance, gross misconduct. So that's why we're seeing kind of that elevation in that number. That's 11 students. No gang-related suspensions, no theft-related suspensions, and then 2 weapons-related suspensions. As I mentioned, those numbers are down altogether, so we are seeing 30 total student suspensions for the first semester of this year as opposed to 35 for first semester last year.
And if you look at the demographics, so that first list there, you got the breakdown by grade, and then by the total number of suspended students, which is pretty much, it's reflective of, our student, our demographics. Then you go down to the percentage of the students enrolled by race. And you got that number in parentheses. And then that percentage of the total population, which was 1665. Pretty, reflective of what we have in our building, and similar numbers down from last year, but across the board, pretty even. A few of the new discipline initiatives that we got going, or some of the continued things, right? Third millennium, we still use that for our restorative practices, or to keep kids in the building as much as possible, and we work with them in our office, or they do it in the ADA room. Our attendance / behavior expectations, I think we really hit it home at the assembly this year, and for the most part, kids are getting used to us, right? And they've been used to us. Now they know, hey, no surprises, right? So we're very clear on how we work. They know how we work. We're we're fair. We're not out to get anybody, right? We just want to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, so everything's been clear, and expectations have been made clear to them. Some of the new things that we've been like installed this year or initiated this year with the cameras, the line crossings. So we get alerts for when people are not where they're supposed to be, perhaps, during the school day. Some of the stairwells, right? So we get alerts on our phone, on our person in the video room, right? And kudos to security calling out anytime any vape alarm or line crossing, whatever it may be. We get security down there as soon as possible if there's anything that looks too suspicious. We've really hammered home the electronic policy with our students, right? We have the policy. Every teacher, they run whatever procedure in their classroom, right? They have the autonomy to do so. But for the most part, we've driven home the point to students that if in doubt, it's red, right? Our policy is red. Put your stuff away, right? And I think it's improved. We still get referrals every now and then, but for the most part, students understand the policy. And increased locker room supervision. That's one of our daily rotations with security. It's part of the rotation now. We have someone down there every period, and that's reduced the number of incidents in those areas, right, where we have no cameras, obviously. And I think that's all we got.
I just want to say thank you for the way that the data is laid out. There is one category that obviously looks a little bit higher, and I'm not going to ask anything specific about it, but the fact that we acknowledge it, but thank you for that change and even going beyond and putting it into the whole population. So.
We should have asked our student advisors. Do you guys have any questions on this? This was a lot to absorb. Emma, Olivia?
I think for right now, okay. The information was all very very organized and very easy to read as well, and I've been able to understand.
But no surprises in there?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one success that we've had this year is just collaboration and consistency. So, and students know that when we utilize our vape detection programs, we're consistent on our follow-up with that. Earlier in the year, we heard from staff that we needed to have a little more of a consistent approach with the electronic policy. So at our institute, we made it a point to have a breakout session, fielded questions, comments, and then didn't reformat or put new procedures in place, but we're more consistent with just how are we getting that message out and what does that message look like for kids so when they come into each classroom, it is the same. And so that's been a help, and we do things together. It's a combined approach with everything we do. No one's taken a different, take on one certain instance or not. It's all together, collaboration, consistency, and I think it's been really helpful and beneficial for our numbers this year. So.
Any more comments from anyone?
Good job, guys.
Thank you all very much.
Keep up the good work. You're not staying on, Murray?
I'm sorry?
Go again.
Student advisors. It's your turn.
All right, so we will go ahead and get started with just like a second semester expectation. So Emma and I will kind of chat a little bit about how that second semester is going for us so far. I know especially for us being seniors, we have a little bit of a different experience with second semester compared to the underclassmen and the juniors as well. Just a lot of seniors prepping for colleges, maybe more decisions coming out. Juniors, I know they're focusing on their testing, ACT and SAT this semester. I know freshmen and sophomores kind of have a little bit of a more like relaxed time, I think, with second semester. I think just getting used to the building still and everything. So I think I just wanted to say I'm excited for the semester. I'm hoping to end this high school career off very well with this semester. But that's all I have. Emma, if you want to add
I
anything?
think you covered it all. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I know every single grade is experiencing their own highs as well as potential lows, but for the second semester, we're looking towards having kind of more brighter opportunities for the new school year and a little bit of a growth from the second semester. But I think, from my perspective, college decisions are at the top of my list, and I'm also really looking forward to what the second semester has to hold and what the conclusion of my career here at RB has to offer.
Well, we're excited to watch it and observe from where we sit as you two finish up your senior year. So thank you.
All right, so to get started with school culture and operation, so for January, I believe this was last week Thursday, on the 23rd was our club photo day. So this was all held by Rouser. Basically, just clubs throughout the day went into the auditorium to take their photos with other club members. So this was between 7:50 to 3:30, like I said, in the auditorium. So this was like an all-day event. Even if students were in classes, they were able to leave for a set time if they had a specific club that they were going to be in the photo of. So that was last week Thursday. And then for February, so on the 4th is college planning tips for sophomores. So there's going to be 6 p.m. in the auditorium. This is just to help sophomores kind of get an idea of maybe what to plan for college for junior year, especially because they're going into a very big year of their high school career, a big year that a lot of colleges and universities will look at. So that's just a way just to help our sophomores kind of get any extra help that they can with maybe choosing classes or maybe any resources that they can use for their junior year. And then the 7th is the daddy-daughter dance. It's going to be hosted, I believe, by the RB dance group. So this is going to be at 6 p.m. in the cafeteria, and it's $27 per daughter, and then dads go for free as well. So it'll be a great way that girls are able to have a nice dad-daughter time, and also just a great thing for our students to be able to organize. So that'll be on the 7th. As well, on the 13th is the Cupid Countdown Winter Dance. This is going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Field House, and it's going to be $5 admission for students. So this is the winter dance that we didn't do last year, so it's coming back this year. So we're really excited to see how everything turns out with that. And then lastly for me, on the 8th is the Solo and Ensemble Festival. So this is going to be from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it's going to be in multiple spaces. So this will just be like the different bands and everything performing at that time.
It's at RB this year? Is it always at RB?
I don't think it's at RB.
Okay.
I think it's in like different areas.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like different areas of the building.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Okay, different locations.
Right,
okay.
yeah. So it'll be at like different locations.
Okay.
But yes.
Thank you, Olivia. So finally, for school culture and operation, we have the Big Band Blast on the 12th, which will occur at the Little Theater from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. So it's an opportunity to support our wonderful and talented RB band. In activities and athletics, in the month of January, we have on the 14th, Rosu Code began computer science drop-in sessions for students who are interested in learning more or even interested in being tutored in computer science concepts. So that will occur at 7:20 a.m. Weekly on Tuesdays. But for students who are interested in tutoring or being tutored, they can reach out to Ms. Chaika. In the month of February, on the 1st, Girl Up will host a shoe drive to support the nonprofit Girls in the Game, and that will be located in the atrium. The Girl Up is also outreaching to different feeder schools as well as different grocery stores and community locations as well, including Brook Park, SC Girls, Hauser, Blythe, Tischler's, and more. And on the 5th, the National Honor Society will host their Chipotle fundraiser from 5 to 9 p.m. and that will occur in the Chipotle of LaGrange, and all proceeds will go to support the Ronald McDonald House. But that concludes our student advisory report tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay. No? Thank you both for doing that. We do have our district goals. Are there any updates? Oh, Dr. Freitas.
Excuse me, Madam President. I do have a few more items.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was buzzing through on the agenda.
Good evening again, our board members. Here's my principal's report for teaching and learning. The all-around RB elective video highlights over 30 elective classes offered at RB. This video was shared with feeder school students and families prior to registration, so students and families could be well informed prior to selecting their courses. If you guys haven't seen it, please view it. It's about 36 minutes. It's a beautiful video that highlights all the electives we have. I spoke to so many, incoming ninth graders. I saw the video. I saw the video, Camargue. I saw it twice, because I want to take this class. So it's great. We have a product that people can view over and over again. But a very well done video. A big shout out to Mr. Holdren, Ms. Kelly Linquist, and all the teachers that helped make it happen. For school coaching operations, tomorrow the 29th at 9 a.m., we have coffee with the principal. We'll be right up here in room 201. In February, we have the college tips for sophomore that was mentioned. On the 14th of February, it is an Institute Day where we will be reviewing the new Danielson framework, and I'm proud to say, that we're one of the first schools to begin the work with that. So we're at the forefront. Really proud. On the 17th, we have President's Day. It is a non-attendance day. We're off that one. Everybody's off, so we get to enjoy that one as well. For activities and athletics, last week we had our boys and girls wrestling senior night. Victory for both programs. Great packed house. If you guys saw me live, I'm yelling and screaming. I mean, I can't help it, as a former wrestler. But it was an outstanding performance. Big shout out to Coach Kirby and his staff for everything they do for our boys and girls, and Coach Veer as well. On the 28th tonight, just still probably happening. It just wrapped up. We had a boys swim and dive senior night, and we had girls gymnastic senior night as well. For the month of February, on the 2nd and on March 9th, we'll be having RBU softball clinics from 1 to 2:30 in the field house. Cost is $10 per athlete. Payment will be accepted at the door. On the 5th of February, we have boys basketball senior night between 7 and 7:30 in the main gym. And on the 7th, we have a girls basketball senior night between 6 and 6:30 at the main gym. So as you guys can see, we celebrate all of our seniors. We honor them. We have an event for them. And, we're just excited to celebrate them and their game. And hopefully they're able to bring a victory or improve on a previous performance. Right? Life's about growth and improvement. And that concludes my principal's report.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Freitas, I apologize for speaking over you earlier. Were there any questions on the district goals or anything we should discuss on that? Or is that just for the board's background?
The team is updating their action steps. There's not much to report on the first month back from winter break.
Right. Yeah. Any questions from anyone?
I wasn't sure exactly what I was looking at with it. So.
I think we've been keeping it in here as a placeholder, if you will, and I I think that's appropriate. But
I tell the team to update their chart before Marion sends out the packet, so if they did anything specific, and then we'll do the large report out in spring.
That work for everyone? Okay. Visitor statement. Is anyone here for visitor statements this evening? Seeing none, are there any additional discussion items from any Board of Education members?
I do not have any.
Okay. Old business, anything to report out on regarding life safety, capital improvement, sustainability? I think Dr. Spatana gave some updates earlier, but nothing in particular here. Any new business? Seeing none. Visitor statements? Still none. Discussion, consideration of items for future meetings. Does anyone on the board have an item for a future meeting? Okay. And then we can move into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, student discipline, individual student matters, purchase, sale, or lease of real property, probable imminent or pending litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety.
The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering the closed session matters as presented in the January 28, 2025 Board Agenda Packet.
Second.
We have a second from Mr. Van Horst. A roll call, please.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Ms. Slash?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn?
Yes.
And Ms. Salis?
Yes. Okay. So we do have a